Welcome to our General Council meeting on Thursday, August 20th. We are at 19 Parnell Street, the Township office. I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Resolution.
That the Council of the Township of Greater Madawaska calls to order the August 20th, 2026 regular council meeting at 3:01 p.m.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Thompson. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Please stand for O Canada. As we gather in chambers, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people for and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for the many and continued displays of friendship. We would also like to thank all generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Thank you, Miigwech. I'd like to move on to 4.1 now, approval of agenda resolution, please.
That the agenda of the council meeting of August 20th, 2026 be approved as amended.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Popke. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 5.1, approval of minutes resolution, please.
That the following minutes are approved by council: June 18th, 2026 regular council and July 10th, 2026 special council.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Thompson. All in favor? Sorry, you've all had a chance to review and see the documents. I will call the question. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 5.2, the acceptance of minutes resolution, please.
That the following minutes are accepted by council: June 8th, 2026 Canada Day Committee, June 22nd, 2026 Canada Day Committee.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Popke. We've had a chance to review the documentations. Any questions? None. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. I will now ask, is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? There is none seen. Thank you. I will now move on to the mayor's report. And thank you for attending today in council and on the YouTube. Our last regular council meeting was held on June 18th, 2026. Since then, I've attended on June 24th regular council meetings, on June 26 community events. I've taken part of meetings in knowledge exchange and Zoom meetings with inter-municipal councils. On July 15th, 2026, I had a meeting with Chief Richard Zahn of the Bonasheers of Algonquin Nations. We talked about land claims in Greater Madawaska and how we can work together and create a more open line of communication and collaboration going forward. We continue to monitor in-season wildfire information discussions bi-weekly with the provincial government. On August 12th, I attended another county council meeting, and from August 16th to 19th, members of this council all attended the Municipalities of Ontario conference held in Ottawa. We had a very successful delegation with Minister Raymond Cho, Minister of Seniors and Accessibility. We discussed seniors assisted living grants, and the future of our wellness hub. The connections and information exchanged in this conference was extremely valuable. All members of council attended and had interactions with jurisdictions from across all of 444. Well, we broke it down between us. We all didn't hit all 444, but we had the opportunity to talk to everybody from all 444 municipalities. I'd like to remind everybody that there are several community events going on this weekend, starting tomorrow at Barnett Park from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then starting on Madawaska Street in Calabogie with live music and then ending the night with entertainment and fireworks. Then Saturday morning starts early at the DACA Center where we have the baseball and volleyball tournament starting at 8 a.m. We are not done yet. Starting at 11 a.m. at the Denby Griffith Lions Club is a party for all ages. We got bouncy castles, I believe, and everything. So please get out and support your community this weekend. Now I'd like to address a very proud moment for the Township of Greater Madawaska. Allison Parks is a resident of Greater Madawaska. Allison is an athlete that had the honor of being a member of Team Ontario's National Special Olympics. Thanks to Allison's hard work, dedication in her event, a bronze medal was brought home to the Township of Greater Madawaska. Allison, thank you for being a great ambassador of the Township, and we all congratulate you. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to address the municipal elections that are taking place October 26, 2026. In the 2022 elections, we had approximately 5,200 eligible voters, and we only had approximately 1,500 actually vote. That's approximately 34%. We need you to vote. We need you to vote for who you want to represent you. This year could not even be easier. You don't have to leave your home. You can vote by phone or electronically. Start debates at home around the dinner table. Talk about who you want to vote for and why. Then learn those, and then have those important issues with your family, and then start having those discussions with your friends. Please come out and vote. It's extremely important. We want your voice heard. We want your representation on this council. So I would really appreciate if everybody had come out to vote. So thank you very much. This concludes my mayor's message. Now I'd like to move on to 8.1, 2026 Canada Day Committee Final Report. Resolution, please.
The council accept the 2026 Canada Day Committee final report as information, and that council directs staff to book key items for the 2027 Canada Day event as soon as possible to avoid scheduling challenges due to the event timelines and vendor availability.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Thompson. I believe we have the chair of the committee here to discuss it with us. Jane Weir.
Hi. The purpose of this report is to inform council of the successes, challenges, and financial implications of the 2026 Canada Day events, as per the Canada Day Committee Terms of Reference. It also establishes the authority for staff to proceed with booking key items for July 1st, 2027. Despite the extreme heat and unpredictable weather forecast for July 1st, there were 5 events held within the township to celebrate Canada Day. 1, Madawaska Hall, Canada Day, June 27th. 2, 5K Fun Run in Madawaska, July 1st. 3, Pancake Breakfast in Calabogie, July 1st. 4, DACA Center, Canada Day, July 1st. And 5, Calabogie Canada Day, July 1st. Madawaska Hall held their first event on Saturday, and organizers reported that the event was a great success again this year with over 120 people attending. Attendees enjoyed a barbecue, sack races, treasure hunts, a fish pond, face painting, cornhole boards custom made by volunteers, and music by the Ghost Town Criers. Organizers received positive feedback, including comments about participants planning to return again next year. The Madawaska Hall received $1,500 in funding from the township, and the event was promoted through shared advertising on the township's local social media and website, and with the distribution of posters. The organizer of the fun run, the 5K fun run, reported that the event was successful despite the heat. The event received support from the township's road department, fire department, and office staff, and township funding of $165, in addition to GM swag for prizes and shared event promotion. The pancake breakfast was held in Calabogie, was organized by the Greater Madawaska Public Library Board and CEO. The Township Fire Department assisted throughout the breakfast event with cooking, serving, and cleanup. The library reported the event to be a success, contributing to their fundraising target and an attendance of approximately 325 people. This event was included on advertising and promotional materials created by the Canada Day Committee. The DACA Center held their event on July 1st and reported that with the help of the Cool Hall sprinklers and splash pool, people stayed cool throughout the hot afternoon. Participants enjoyed snacks, popsicles, ice cream, barbecue, a fire department display, horse and wagon rides, and a fireworks display. The attendance was lower this year due to the heat, but those who attended enjoyed the day. The DACA Center received township assistance with $1,500 of funding, the fire department staff, and promotion through shared advertising. The Calabogie Canada Day celebrations were quite different from previous years. The decision was made on Monday, June 29th, to cancel or postpone the fireworks scheduled for Wednesday, July 1st. On Tuesday, the decision was made to move parts of the event to the morning to cover the covered rink surface. The intent of this decision was to provide Canada Day celebrations and activities for families attending the pancake breakfast, while alleviating some of the health and safety risk associated with holding the event on Madawaska Street during extreme heat and unpredictable weather forecast. The lifting of the full fire ban allowed for the use of fireworks. However, it was not sufficient enough time to reschedule the pyrotechnic services previously canceled. Members of the Canada Day Committee, volunteers, and township staff held the revised event from 9 to 1 p.m., including face painting, scavenger hunt, bash tent, yard games, log sawing, thank you, and attended until approximately 12 p.m., and participants enjoyed the games and activities. The activities and services did not take place on July 1st, have been rescheduled as additions to the GM Summer Bashes and Canada Day Street Party, scheduled for August 21st and 22nd, including the magicians, balloon artist, bouncy castles, and fireworks. Expensive for Canada Day 2026 were Match One Hall, $1,500, DACA Center, $1,500, Fun Run, $165, and the Calabogie event, $16,750, for a total of $26,750. Fundraising, sponsorships, donations, and grants amounted to $13,280, plus any donations that may be received during the August 21st fireworks show. Therefore, the total financial implications, for the townships for Canada Day 2026 was $13,470 less any donations that may be received during the August 21st fireworks show. In preparation for 2027, staff is recommending that council approve the booking of key items as soon as possible.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Tripp.
Thank you. Just two comments, and one, as a member of that committee, I would like, on behalf of all of council, to thank you for your leadership as chair. It was a very unusual year. We worked hard towards the date July 1st and then scrambled at the end for change management. But you were the glue that held the team together with the volunteers and encouraging volunteers to come out. And your thread of consistent leadership was there throughout the event. So I just wanted to thank you on behalf of certainly on behalf of council, but as well as all the committee members. And second to that, I'd like to also recognize Robin for her work. Robin has a full-time job, and on top of that, she took on a second full-time job, and that was organizing us around the Canada Day Committee. An incredible success in able to change, manage, and move very quickly to adapt to the weather conditions and come up with viable options to allow us to carry it forward. We as volunteers could not have done this without Robin's support and on-the-ground knowledge, experience, and personality in working with the people that had to move quickly to make things happen. And that success is evident in terms of the celebrations we'll be having tomorrow night on Friday. And as Mayor Weir said, the band will be on stage from 7 until 10, and the fireworks, we were able to keep them booked and move them to tonight as well, or to Friday night as well. So it's an opportunity to really celebrate our community. Canada Day is part of it, but it's also a really nice opportunity for this committee to showcase our community and have that celebration down by the water. So I would encourage people to come out on Friday night. It'll be a great night. But thanks from the committee, from this council, to the two of you for all you did. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? I'd just like to thank all of the committee and all of the organizers at every event. It was great. I would really encourage people in Calabogie to get up to the fun run in Madawaska. I would encourage the people from Madawaska to come to the fireworks. I'd like people from Calabogie and Madawaska and the Daka area to attend Griffith's celebrations. I think we have, I personally try to get to each one on Canada Day, and I particularly try to get to the fun run in the morning on the 1st, but I had to walk it this year, but at least I did it. But it is so great to go to other areas that you're not used to going and meeting people and hear what they're talking about, and meeting new people in your community and bringing us together as community is what these events are all about. And I would really encourage everybody, starting tomorrow afternoon, hit Barnett Park and then come to Calabogie for the fireworks, and then hit the DACA Center in Griffith tomorrow or on the Saturday. So please, please get out and join your community. And once again, thank you for the Canada Day Committee. All right, do we, everybody's understood? I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried, so thank you. We'll now move on to 8.2, South Ottawa OPP Detachment Board. Councillor Tripp.
Thank you very much. So this will be the last report during this council session for the OPP Detachment Board. We will stay on. The members who are representing the various municipalities will stay on the board until January. It's part of the continuity process within the legislation. So there's an overlap for those who wish to, who may not be returning next term or who are stopping their term of service this year. The exciting news is we've managed to conduct our screening for a coordinator to support the board going forward. We've made that determination, and we'll be making that announcement public at our September board meeting. She'll be coming to the board. That's a pivoting point, and we're really pleased at the end of this term to give the new organization moving forward that support in administrative management. She will be responsible as the coordinator, administrator, executive to help us move forward some of the policy initiatives that we want to put in place. And then we'll have the wrap-up report coming around the Christmas time wrap-up for the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? There are none. Well, thank you, Councillor Tripp. I'll now move on to, if I hadn't turned the page too quick, Recreation and Culture Committee, Councillor Levesque.
Thank you. Couple of items. One is the Madawaska Music in the Park. Unfortunately, that was canceled. Originally, we had the date set for September, and it was later moved to August, and we verified that that date was okay, but unfortunately, there's some conflicts with that date, and too late to reschedule at this point. The one thing that is happening on that weekend, just to let everyone know, that there is the Shine and Show from 10 till 2, and then an open mic following on the following weekend, which is a first-time event for that community. Just to let everyone know as well, there's a lot of things happening in Madawaska area. So there's a Saturday social in August, and there's music happening every weekend except for August 29th. So there's lots happening, and we hope to be getting that ready for next year and host the same event. The other item that is coming up is the Greater Madawaska Landscape Artist of the Year. Last year was our inaugural year, which was very successful. And that is going to be September 12th and from 9 to 4 in Barnett Park. Cost is free. All ages are welcome. Anybody can participate, and it's going to be all kinds of various mediums that are going to be accepted. And the artworks will be judged by a panel of local artists and prizes for top entries in each age group and category. Registration's free, so information's on the Township website and social media, and that's all we have.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? No, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. We'll now move on to 9.1, delegation resolution, please.
The council received the Integrity Commissioner's report regarding complaint 26001 as information, and that with respect to the Integrity Commissioner's findings that Councillor Thompson violated the Code of Conduct, council adopt the Integrity Commissioner's recommendation that Councillor Thompson's remuneration be suspended for a period of 60 days, and that with respect to the Integrity Commissioner's findings that Councillor Thompson breached subsection 5.21 of the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act, council choose 1A, authorize the Integrity Commissioner to proceed with an application under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act, or B, defer consideration of whether to pursue an application under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act until the next term of council.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Popke. We have our Integrity Commissioner online. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can. Can
Thank
you hear
you.
me?
Yes, we
Mayor?
can. Would you introduce yourself, and we will look forward
Yes.
to your delegation. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is David Bogosian. I am your newish Integrity Commissioner. I've been the Integrity Commissioner for Greater Madawaska since April of this year. I'm sorry I'm meeting all of you, most of you, for the first time under these circumstances of me delivering my first report on a complaint to this council. Let me give you an overview of my report. I received a complaint on July 29, 2026 from Mayor Weir concerning Councillor Lois Thompson. The complaint concerned the conduct of Councillor Thompson in relation to a notice of motion seeking to introduce an unassumed roads policy framework and related correspondence with town staff and a member of council concerning these matters. The complaint alleged that despite prior advice from the CAO in June 2025 and the advice of the former Integrity Commissioner given on October 1, 2025 regarding Councillor Thompson's pecuniary interest and the need to avoid influencing staff or council, she prepared in advance the July 23rd, 2026 notice of motion, asked Councillor Tripp to introduce it because she knew she had a conflict of interest if she did it herself, and continued to advocate for the unassumed roads motion, as I call it in the report, in correspondence with the CAO on July 24 and 25, 2026. The complaint alleged breaches of both the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act and the Township's Code of Conduct. With respect to the, what I'm going to call the MCIA, short for Municipal Conflict of Interest Act, it was alleged that sections 5 sub 1 and 5.2 sub 1 were violated. And the complaint also alleged that the councillor's conduct violated 4 different sections of the Code of Conduct. With his complaint, Mayor Weir sent me a number of documents, including the notice of motion, correspondence between Councillor Thompson and the CAO from both June 2025 and July 2026, and an email from the former IC, to Councillor Thompson dated October 1st, 2025, regarding her conflict of interest in having the so-called McPherson Road recognized as an unassumed municipal road, which the latter had shared with the CAO shortly after she had received it. I sent a notice of complaint to Councillor Thompson along with the supporting documents I'd been provided with respect to the complaint. I received her reply along with her supporting documents, and I exchanged a number of follow-up emails with her to clarify certain matters. I also summoned emails from Councillor Thompson's Township email account between her and Mr. Steve Houle from this year. I examined Councillor Thompson under oath with through a court reporter's office and had a transcript of that examination prepared. I also summoned Steve Houle, and he provided all of his correspondence between himself and Councillor Thompson dating back to June 10th, 2025, as well as many other documents related to his development application, as I refer to in the report as the Centennial Lake properties, and his research regarding unassumed municipal roads. I also examined Mr. Houle under oath and obtained a court-certified transcript of that examination. Before I get into my findings, conclusions, and recommended penalty, I want to say 2 things. 1, my report and investigation has nothing to do with determining if certain roads within the township are unassumed municipal roads, or about the rightness or wrongness of Councillor Thompson's belief that the McPherson Road or the road that Mr. Houle wants recognized leading to his Centennial Lake lands through the county forest are unassumed municipal roads. Nor should this agenda item be turned into a debate about those issues. My report is about the manner in which Councillor Thompson chose to go about dealing with those issues, not the substance of the issues themselves. Secondly, this report has nothing to do with the conduct of Mr. Houle, who cooperated fully with my investigation, and as far as I'm concerned, has done nothing wrong in relation to any of the matters addressed or referred to in my report. So let me go through my findings. The preliminary issue with respect to the MCIA complaint is whether Councillor Thompson had a pecuniary interest in the subject matter of the motion. Section 3 of the MCIA deems a pecuniary interest of a council member's spouse to be that of the councillor. Section 5 and 5.2 of the MCIA preclude a member from voting on matters in which they have or are deemed to have a pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, or attempting to influence staff in respect of such matters, which includes matters in respect of which their spouse has a pecuniary interest. Pecuniary interest isn't defined in the MCIA, but generally it refers to any financial, economic, monetary interest or in-kind interest. I made a finding of fact that a significant feature of the unassumed roads motion was to investigate certain discrete roads that included the McPherson Road for ultimate designation as an unassumed municipal road. I've found that the continued use of the McPherson Road to access the Thompson lands, that those are lands owned by Councillor Thompson's husband off Madawaska Road, was in jeopardy of being blocked, which the councillor believed would be prevented if the road was designated an unassumed municipal road. Loss of road access to the Thompson lands would, without a doubt, reduce their market value. either to nil or close to nil. Even if there was no immediate threat of loss of access, the designation of the road as a municipal road would provide reassurance of continued future access, which I find would increase the value of the land compared to if there was not an official municipal road access designation. Finally, municipal access, road access could pave the way to future improvement of the road, which in turn, combined with the status of the Thompson lands being located on a municipal road, could lead to the lots being capable of being developed as building lots in the future, or at least allow the Thompson lands to be accessible by motor vehicle, an improvement over the road's current state. I therefore concluded that Councillor Thompson had a pecuniary interest in the motion, which she has in fact admitted, as anyone who's read my report will see on several occasions throughout the correspondence that I've reviewed. For the purpose of the MCIA, based on the fact that her husband, whose interests are deemed to be her own, stood to gain or potentially gain increased market value of the Thompson lands and other financial benefits, including the avoidance of having to go to court to demonstrate that the McPherson Road was an unassuming municipal road. If the motion passed and led to the McPherson Road being recognized as an unassumed municipal road, as I found Councillor Thompson expected would be the case after the motion passed. I also considered and rejected Councillor Thompson's defense that she had an interest in common with electors generally in respect of the subject matter of the motion. Section 4J of the MCIA sets out an exception to the need to comply with the directions in sections 5 and 5.2 of the MCIA, where the member has a pecuniary interest if the member's interest is in common with electors generally. Being an exception to the usual rule, the onus is on the member seeking to rely on the exception to establish they fall within it. I rejected Councillor Thompson's claim that her interest was in common with electors generally. While there is general reference in the motion to the examination of roads across the township to determine if any of them are unassumed municipal roads, only certain roads are specifically targeted for immediate investigation of such designation, including the McPherson Road and the road leading to the Hule Centennial Lake properties. Furthermore, the existence of any other unassumed roads is speculative. Even more speculative is the claim that future development might be generated by the discovery and recognition of any other such roads. I therefore concluded that Councillor Thompson's interest in the motion was not one in common with electors generally. With respect to section 5 sub 1 sub C of the MCIA, I found there was no violation, even though Councillor Thompson provided the draft notice of motion to Councillor Tripp, together with submissions to be made when introducing it. It did not violate this section because the motion was neither on the agenda for any council meeting, nor was it contemplated that it would be on, it would be dealt with at any particular meeting at that time, which I found was a requirement before that section applied. With respect to section 5.2 sub 1, it provides that if a member, where a member has any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in any matter that is being considered by an officer or employee of the municipality, the member shall not use his or her office in any way to attempt to influence any decision or recommendation that results from consideration of the matter. I found that Councillor Thompson's July 25, 2026 email to CAO Mask constituted an improper attempt to influence the latter to support the motion and to support its immediate consideration rather than deferring it to the next term of council, as Councillor Tripp had suggested. I further found that the approach in July 2026 was a continuation of the June 2025 attempts by Councillor Thompson to get the CAO to take steps to recognize the McPherson Road as an unassumed municipal road, making the July 2026 approach all the less defensible given the explicit advice of the former IC from October 2025 that, quote, "You cannot use your position of councillor to influence the CAO or any other township employee to decide or recommend your desired outcome in respect of the McPherson Road. I also found that CEO Mask and other staff employees were still actively looking into and working on the claims that these roads were unassumed roads, being the McPherson Road and the one that Mr. Hule wants recognized as such. So she was actively working on the very matter that she was being lobbied about in July 2026. I therefore found that Councillor Thompson breached Section 5.2 sub 1 of the MCIA. In terms of the Code of Conduct, for technical reasons set out in my report, I found there was no breach of Section 1 of the Code of Conduct. With respect to Section 5, which is improper use of influence, I found that Councillor Thompson used the status of her position to influence or attempt to influence the decision of another individual, being the CAO, to the private advantage of her spouse, contrary to Section 5. I found that Councillor Thompson attempted to influence the CAO to support and expedite consideration of the motion for, among other reasons, the private advantage and pecuniary benefit of her husband in relation to the McPherson Road. It seems trite, I found, that she would not be in a position to have drafted a motion and be able to lobby the CAO to support her motion and help her get it passed quickly, but for her status as a councillor. As the former IC advised her, Councillor Thompson's husband was free to lobby the township staff to recognize his road as an unassumed, not his road, the road, as an unassumed municipal road, but she was not. Contrary to that advice, she persisted in lobbying the CAO to assist in passing the motion, a major object of which was to get the McPherson Road recognized as a municipal road. I also found that in attempting to conscript Councillor Tripp into moving the motion on her behalf, both by way of the email attaching it in the background and benefits memo she added following the wording of the motion, she used her status as a fellow councillor to attempt to get a motion before council that would confer a private advantage on her husband. I found the intent of the covering email she sent to Councillor Tripp was to encourage him to view the motion favorably so he would sponsor it on her behalf. I did not find that Councillor Thompson breached this provision of the code in conferring any advantage on Mr. Hule. His land is located in her ward, and I believe she has a legitimate public interest in having road access to the Hule properties recognized so that he could develop those properties, which she believes would be of benefit to the township. Relying to a large extent on my findings in relation to breach of Section 5 of the Code of Conduct and my interpretation of the word undue as used in Section 7 of the Code, I found that Councillor Thompson did attempt to unduly influence the CAO in relation to the unassumed roads motion, contrary to Section 7, dealing with conduct respecting staff of the Code of Conduct. In terms of penalty, I have recommended a penalty of 60 days suspension of the pay of Councillor Thompson for the Code of Conduct breaches for the reasons that I've set out very clearly toward the end of my report. It is up to council to determine what penalty to impose, not me. I have only made a recommendation. With respect to the Conflict of Interest Act breach, I pointed out in my report that council cannot impose a penalty for breaching the MCIA. Only the court can. And to invoke that, I would have to bring an application to court at considerable expense to the township. The township is required to pay my full costs of bringing a legal application to the court to have the finding verified and to have a penalty imposed by the court. I left it up in my report to council to direct whether I should bring that application because of the cost, as a matter of due process to Councillor Thompson, so she could have a say in council's decision if it is considering that. And I set out a number of factors that I felt were relevant to making that determination, including the extent of the penalty council imposes for the Code of Conduct breaches itself, and the likelihood or lack thereof of the court imposing a penalty greater or at least significantly greater than what I have recommended. I also suggested that council could postpone deciding this issue until after the election, thus leaving it for the new term of council, given that I cannot bring the application until the election is over, because today would have actually been the very last day you could issue the application, which we obviously have not done. Subject to any questions, those are the submissions I wanted to make about my report.
Thank you very much. And just for, you mentioned MCIA quite often. I just want, for people that are unaware, it's the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. I just wanted to let you know what the acronym
Yeah,
was. For any of
I
our-
thought I had mentioned that that's what it meant, but yes, that's
And I
the
missed,
municipal.
I apologize. I missed that.
No,
So
that's
now
fine.
we've repeated it twice. Good. Okay. Is there any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Thompson? Yes. You need your mic on.
As for pecuniary interest, the road around my husband's property is already an unassumed municipal road, proven by that he was able to get a severance from the other property in 1995. So we have the lawyer's approval, and on the property taxes, it shows frontage on that unnamed road. So we have frontage on a municipal road. So that's my personal pecuniary. So anyhow, I want to thank you, Mayor and colleagues. I received this information late Tuesday, and I asked for it to be deferred until I and my colleagues had time to absorb it. Despite this, it was added to the agenda yesterday. While I'm disappointed that we aren't deferring this to give everyone adequate time, it's quite lengthy, I want to be entirely open and transparent with you today. I care deeply about this township, my integrity, and the trust our community places in us. That is why it's so important to me that council bases its decisions on the complete, accurate picture. The foundation of this report relies on an incorrect assumption by the Integrity Commissioner about municipal road allowances and statute labor under historical acts dating back to 1810. Specifically, establishment of roads via statute
Councillor
labor.
Thompson, may I interrupt for a second? I don't, that's going a little off topic of what are the recommendations today, the history of the roads.
But I believe I have the right to say my piece so that you can make an informed decision, correct?
Well, we have the Integrity Commissioner's report, and that's what this
But
discussion is.
this
Just
is
try and-
important information that was not included in the report that I used to tell him that I do not have pecuniary interest. So I really do need to.
Okay, we'll give you some levity on that.
Okay, thanks. So there are three points. The establishment of roads via statute labor. Section 261 of the former Municipal Act explicitly provided that all roads on which statute labor has been usually performed are common and public highways. This statutory mechanism applied to non-crowned, non-subdivision roads. Continuation of status, section 26(1) of the Municipal Act 2001 grandfathered these roads, providing that all highways in existence on December 31st, 2002 continue to be public highways unless formally stopped up and closed by municipal council bylaw under section 34. Highway status versus obligation to maintain. Proving that a road became a public highway via historic statute labor does not automatically obligate the municipality to maintain it or expose it to liability. Under sections 31-1 and 44 of the Municipal Act 2001, a municipality's duty of repair only attaches to roads that have been assumed for public use by the municipality. Unassumed public highways remain legal public rights of way without creating municipal maintenance duties. This is all true, but the township has no formal policy surrounding acknowledging that these roads exist, even though they were never surveyed. What is missing from the commissioner's report is the documentation I provided showing how these statute labor roads were explicitly grandfathered as public highways through subsequent provincial legislation. Unfortunately, that information was dismissed by the Integrity Commissioner without being addressed in the final findings. It is vital information that proves that I do not have a unique pecuniary interest. It proves instead that I share a pecuniary interest in common with the electorate, meaning it will be of benefit to the entire township and could be replicable in other municipalities that have unassumed roads that have fallen off the map. The creation of a policy surrounding heritage roads that were created with statute labor will benefit the entire township, and the extensive historical research, maps, LiDAR, and knowledge that a resident developer, Stephen Houlage, can contribute is instrumental to developing a heritage roads policy framework. It is a policy to establish road access with no obligation for the township to assume roads. This policy is intended to provide a mechanism whereby anyone in the township can provide proof to the planners that a road exists as an unassumed municipal road and potentially enter into an agreement with the township for the property owner to maintain or improve the road to standards that are yet to be developed. The township routinely enters into agreements for property owners to provide winter maintenance on seasonally maintained municipal roads. This will be very similar to that. This isn't about 2 months of pay for me. It's about my character. It's about council having the full facts before making a decision that reflects on our entire municipality. I'm asking you, as my colleagues, to look closely at whether this report presents a complete story. We all want what is best for Greater Madawaska, and accepting a finding that leaves out crucial statutory history sets a concerning precedent for how we evaluate these matters. I requested a deferral so we could all have the proper legal and historical details in front of us rather than debating 200 years of municipal law off the cuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Councillor Tripp.
Thank you, and thank you for your report, very informative and detailed. And it's foundational, I think, for us as a council or for any council or body of governance, because this is talking about our three key pillars that we all stand on in terms of integrity, transparency, and accountability. And that's the thread for governance in any organization. The report is quite detailed. There's an awful lot of information in it. It flows well. So again, appreciation for the work that you've put into it. It is an awful lot of information, and we only received it early this week, and most of us were attending AMO. I noticed in paragraph 101 of your report, you talk about it might be prudent for council to defer its final decision on the matter. And I understand in a normal circle of events, if we were midterm, we would have the luxury to defer this for a meeting or two to digest, to get informed, so that we're making informed decisions based on fact. It's challenging now because we are about to go into an election cycle, and deferring would mean it going to a new council. But it is a lot of information, and I think we have a responsibility to make that informed decision. So I'm wondering if that is an opportunity, but I do believe on the three pillars: integrity, transparency, and accountability, and with that consequence. So those are big ticket items for us to digest, and I'm not sure if we have the capacity to do it in one meeting today when we just received a 51-page report a few days ago. That's my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Councillor Levesque.
I too would like to thank Mr. Bogosian for the report, really well done. In his opening statement, he highlighted that this really wasn't about the roads. It was about the act of the serious code of conduct violations. So per your points, I think we appreciate your concern about that, and other people in the township maybe also be concerned about the same thing. I think the way it was carried out and the fact that it's a 56-page report, which I've gone through, like it's pretty plain and simple. The fact of the matter is the violation occurred not once, but twice. And knowing of the counselor that she did this and what we've read about, the MCIA and all the stuff that we're supposed to adhere to. To me, it's very simple. It's black and white, unfortunately. The item itself that's being argued, that you provided the argument for, unfortunately, to me, is irrelevant for this report. It's totally separate from it. It was just what drew it into it. So that's my
Thank you.
2 cents.
Anything else? No, I'd like to thank the Integrity Commissioner. Number one, difficult issue to bring forward, but necessary, and I thank you for acting upon it so quickly and investigating. It's just, I know it was a short time period, and we had to work it in because of the October election, so we needed to address it. I too, in agreement with Councillor Levesque that the issue here is the manner in which this was attempted to be brought forward, and the report in the emails, we see that this was going on for quite some time. This wasn't just a unplanned circumstance. There was emails back and forth between Mr. Julia and Councillor Thompson, and Councillor Thompson was aware from the prior Integrity Commissioner that she was advised to she had a conflict of interest, and that anything going forward should be brought forward by her husband and not herself. She chose to ignore that Integrity Commissioner's information and judgment and proceeded to, in the background, put the file together for the unassumed road bylaw. I personally, when it was brought to my attention, was quite shocked, and knew that we needed to do something about it. And once I received further information from the Integrity Commissioner's report, and I see the communication and the planning and the way it was put together in the background, and then the attempt, knowing she had a conflict of interest, an attempt to have Councillor Tripp bring it forward, and Councillor Tripp brought it to my attention, and that's how we got here. I agree with Councillor Levesque about, we appreciate that the roads and everything, but that is what the culmination of what brought us here. And what we're looking at today is the breaches, what were done, not the actual roads themselves and what culminated it, but the way, it could be anything. It could have been about water, it could have been garbage cans, could have been anything. But the manner in which the attempt was made is concerning. So if there's any other further, Councillor Tripp, I will.
Thank you. Just supplemental, and back to my initial comment about postponing. My concern was we didn't have the time. This just came to us recently. Listening to the dialogue around the table and the clarity, I recognize that people have had a chance to digest it. I was involved with it when it first came to me, and my first response before doing anything was to send it directly to Mayor Weir with a CC to the CAO, because it's outside of my scope. Having had this discussion, which is really healthy for council, I recognize people have done the deep dive, the due diligence, and captured the key point on it. So I'm much more comfortable knowing after this discussion here that people do have a full understanding of facts. So I'm on board. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other further comments? Councillor Thompson.
It seems, the only reason I thought it would be best to ask Councillor Tripp to bring it forward is because, and I actually said I'm in a conflict of interest, but I felt that would be better than trying to assert the way I'm doing here that I don't have a conflict of interest. There is no pecuniary interest to my husband whether that road is declared unopened because it's already an unopened road. There's no benefit to me personally, right? And the interest in common is to allow a framework that we can identify these roads. It really didn't look good, but I thought when I talked to the Integrity Commissioner, I would be able to make this case that there is no pecuniary interest, and that would exonerate me. But he's not looking at the roads. The reason I'm being called out is because of the manner I did something. Okay, the manner was not good, but it was not for the benefit of me or my husband to have a road identified as a municipal road. It's already been identified. So I still maintain I have the same interest as anybody else, that we need a framework to identify roads so that developers, when they come, can talk to the planners and they'll have a checklist. Do you have like a legal opinion, as my husband got when he had a severance, that there is a municipal road there? Or they can have a checklist. Do you have deeds and names? Do you have municipal records that that road existed? These are the types of things that Stephen Houlage has, but he came to me as the counselor to say he's having a problem because the planners won't recognize the roads that he has proof are roads. And there are many, many roads. I mean, this whole hilly, rocky area was developed through statute labor to make these roads, but they've fallen off the map. So,
Thank you.
I'm done.
Thank you. Was there any other further comments? No, thank you. We'll now, guess we move into, do we need the resolution read again for anyone?
It was just to accept the report, wasn't it?
So the motion has two components. One is relating to the code of conduct violation of 60 days, and then the other component for the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Council would need to choose the options to authorize the Integrity Commissioner to proceed with an application under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act, or defer consideration whether to pursue an application under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act until the next term of council. So council can choose, with the motion that we've presented from the recommendations from the Integrity Commissioner, council can choose to adjust to what you would like to see here.
Thank you. So I think we'll address sorry.
Mayor, could I speak for one minute?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's not to address anything that anyone has said, except procedurally, there's a third option for the MCI thing. So you could authorize me to bring an application. You could defer it to after the election. And the third option, which was mentioned, is you can simply decline to authorize me to bring the application at all on the basis that council feels that the 60-day pay suspension is a sufficient penalty as it is without more.
Thank you for that. So I think we'll deal with the first question in regards to the recommendation from the Integrity Commissioner on the Code of Conduct violations. Is there any discussion on that and on the recommendation of the 60 days? Councillor Levesque.
Thank you. I think given the two different or related items, I think the 60 days is appropriate in that case.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? No, and I agree with Councillor Levesque on the matter that the Integrity Commissioner's suggestion of 60 days, giving the background and the time that it it was, and the fact that a legal opinion was given that there was a conflict of interest and that was ignored, I would agree with the 60 days as well. Is there any other questions, comments? Should we we'll vote on this, we'll vote as this as a whole, correct?
Yeah,
Okay, so then we'll move on to the next section. Okay, respect to the Integrity Commissioner's finding that Councillor Thompson breached subsection 5.2 bracket 1 of the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act. Council can choose, authorize the Integrity Commissioner to proceed with the application of the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act, or deferred the consideration of whether to pursue the application under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act until the next term. And as we've just been advised, that we can also say that we believe the 60-day suspension is adequate, and that we could, what was the terminology? Decline to, yeah. So let's have a conversation around that, can we? Councillor Tripp.
Thank you. I would agree with the 60 days being sufficient and decline the second, given the cost of making an application.
Thank you. Councillor Levesque, anything? I see you're looking.
I would agree to not include it or defer it. I think the damage has been done. Unfortunately, it's a small township. I think everybody who's seeing any of this evening is the word will spread. Elections are coming up, and I think the damage is done, unfortunately. So I think the first point of the 6 days is warranted, and that's it.
Thank you. Councillor Popke?
I was just going to say, I think the 60 days is adequate. There's no need to bring the township any further conflict or anything on this issue, and yeah.
Thank you. I'm in agreement with my other councils members, so we will
How about we reread the
reread the motion, please.
The council received the Integrity Commissioner's report regarding complaint 26001 as information, and that with respect to the Integrity Commissioner's findings that Councillor Thompson violated the Code of Conduct, council adopt the Integrity Commissioner's recommendation that Councillor Thompson remuneration be suspended for a period of 60 days, and that with respect to the Integrity Commissioner's findings that Councillor Thompson breached subsection 5.21 of the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act, council declined to authorize the Integrity Commissioner to proceed with an application under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act.
Thank you. You've heard the recommendations. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for your time today, and the...
Wasn't unanimous.
Oh, you were unable to vote. Oh. Sorry. Yes. Sorry about that. Thank you for taking the time and putting this together in such a rapid manner for us, and so concise and precise, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. At this time, I would ask if we can take a 5-minute break, if council is in agreement, if we could, please. Clerk? Okay.
I'll mark that in the minutes for you.
Thank you. Sean, we're going to take a 5-minute break. Can you let us know when we're off camera? Thank you for indulging us with that break. We will now move on to 10, Public Works Department, 10.1, Peaks Village Road Reconstruction Funding Update. Resolution, please.
The council directs staff to include the Peaks Village Road Reconstruction Project in the Township's 2027 long-range capital forecast in the estimated amount of $330,000 for consideration as part of the 2027 capital budget process.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Levesque, second by Councillor Tripp. Who's doing our background here? I believe it's Steve, is it, or is the CAO? Both names are on it.
I will lead and Steve will respond to road questions. What we have here is an older file. I believe this would have started even, some decades ago, where the subdivision was never completed as per the agreement. Therefore, in 2025, council was able to execute an agreement between the township and Calabogie Peaks to take over the agreement, but also this would allow us to be able to secure or use the 8 security lots to complete the road. Following the security lots, declaring them as surplus, we put RFP out and for realtor services, and we've proceeded with the sale of land. At this point, there's 3 lots that have been sold out of the 8. One of them was sold in 2025, which funded the funds the township had already spent to date with the expropriation and the closing of the file. So we were able to pay the township back for the fees relating to that subdivision. And then now the sale of the lots are to be intended for the road reconstruction. With the lots that are sold currently, we are able to add the road reconstruction to 2027 as long-range capital forecast and for consideration because it would be funded through the funds from the lot sale. So what we're looking at is 4 roads within the subdivision being completed at 2.15 kilometers for $330,000. So this report is intended to allow staff to add it to long-range capital forecast. Currently, these roads are not recognized in township roads, but with the closure of essentially the subdivision agreement and completion, they will be eventually transferred to the township. This allows us to plan for the future of the reconstruction, utilizing the funds from the sale of the lots within the Peaks Village.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? Councillor Popke.
I've talked to a few people in there. They're concerned about the fact that it's going to get paved, tarred, chipped. Is it a necessity to resurface this road like that, or can we keep it as a gravel road?
Well, through past roads and through past councils, they've always did not want to downgrade roads as we're doing them. So like, you don't take a paved road and take it downwards to a gravel road. We always try to upgrade them if for anything, like we're changing some to going to asphalt from LCB, but that was council's decision back then. That was not to downgrade roads. If anything, we're going to try and upgrade roads. Gravel roads in there with the houses, it's just going to be calcium all the time complaints, and it'll be just, well, it's another 3.5 kilometers of road to grade all the time. So I think it's best to just resurface treat it the way it is now.
I want to add to that, the subdivision agreement, the original one, is for paved roads also. So it's important to follow within the expectation from the subdivision.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak on the matter? Okay, call to question. All in favor? That is unanimous. So carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to Section 11, Protection Services Departments, 11.1 bylaw, 33-2026 being a bylaw for animal control. Resolution, please.
That council approve bylaw 33, 2026, being a bylaw to regulate the keeping and control of animals, the animal identification system, licensing and restraint of dogs, and certain other aspects of animal control within the corporation of the Township of Greater Madawaska, and that council repeal bylaw 09, 2008 and bylaw 28, 2018.
Thank you. Hang on a sec. We had a mover on that yet? No, there we go. Mover, Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Levesque. Sorry about that, in the background.
So good afternoon. Today I'm bringing forward bylaw 33-2026, which updates and consolidates the township's existing animal control regulations. The current regulations are contained in bylaw 09-2008 and 28-2018. We have reviewed these bylaws to ensure that they remain current, practical, and enforceable, and are consistent with applicable provincial legislation. A consultation has been done with MLES to ensure that everything remains current. The key changes in the new policy are consolidating the existing bylaws into one updated bylaw rather than referencing to two separate bylaws. Adding provision for service dogs, including a licensing fee waiver where appropriate, updating the kennel licensing and inspection requirements, updating definitions and terminology, and referencing the township's fees and charges bylaw rather than listing specific fees, allowing fees to be updated more easily rather than repealing and replacing the bylaw to update fees. The bylaw also clarifies the township's municipal role while recognizing that provincial legislation continues to govern matters such as animal welfare and dangerous dogs. Overall, the update provides clear requirements for residents and clear enforcement tools for municipal law enforcement officers. So today I recommend that you approve this bylaw and repeal 09-2008 and 28-2018. If you have any questions?
Thank you. Any questions from council? I'm seeing none. Call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you, Jen. We'll now move on to 12.1, building permit report. Information item. There you are. Chris, please.
Okay, thank you. This memo was just to update council of how many the building permits and septic permits issued as of the end of July this year, and in comparison, same time frame in 2025, and also the building permit revenues to the same dates, and lot development charges that have been collected at the same dates as well. So any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments, concerns from council on the information item? I'm seeing none. Thanks, Chris, for the good work and keeping us up to date. We'll now move on to 13, Finance Administration Department, 13.1, Bylaw 34-2026, appoint Joint Compliance Audit Committee. Resolution, please.
The council approves bylaw 34, 2026 to appoint the Joint Compliance Audit Committee for the 2026 to 2030 term.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Thompson. And background, please, Robin.
The Municipal Elections Act requires that municipalities appoint a compliance audit committee, and the purpose of the committee is to review audit financial statements from candidates if there are inquiries about discrepancies. In 2018 and 2022, the township, along with 4 other municipalities, it was us and Arnprior, McNabb, Braeside, Horton, and Abmaston Bromley, formed a joint compliance audit committee. We went ahead and went with the same design this year, and the application process was open from June to late in July. There's 1 member from each municipality being appointed to the committee if council approves. Township of Greater Madawaska, we have David Stewart again. He's been on the committee for the past at least 2 terms, if not a 3rd one. Arnprior has Donna Anderson. McNabb Braeside has Barb Darlow. Horton, Dan Dugay, and Admaston Bromley is Derek Chapman. And staff is recommending that you appoint them all by bylaw in case they're needed.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council on this one? No, Robin, you did a great job. Call the question and all in favor. Thank you, that is carried. We'll now move on to 13.2, Green Municipal Fund Feasibility Study. Resolution, please.
That council authorize the Township of Greater Madawaska to apply to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund for the Calabogie Junction Community and Wellness Hub Campus Feasibility Study, and that council commit up to $50,000 as the township's contribution toward the $250,000 study, subject to funding approval.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Popke. And the background is CAO.
So what we have here is the next stage of the feasibility or the study framework towards the property that was procured in 2025, the 6.5 acres. So in this phase, we're looking for a feasibility study to be completed with the funding through the Federation of Canadian Municipalities Green Municipal Fund. Back in the spring, we would have applied for the pre-application phase, and we've been approved to submit a full application. So this is heading into the full application. As part of the full application, we are required to confirm through resolution that we would be able to fund our portion of the $50,000 of the $250,000 to proceed should we be approved. So this does not mean we're approved at this point. This is just the funding confirmation should we be approved. Through the feasibility study, we'll be looking to complete the concept plans, site development servicing analysis, so water servicing if communal services will be required, Class C construction cost estimates, evaluation of the systems and sustainability of the building. Through the application, the Green Municipal Fund is actually allowing us to apply for feasibility for two buildings on that land. So it's not just for one. It'll have both buildings. One would be more of a health and wellness hub, where the other one's more of a community services, such as library and other municipal type of services. So we're kind of lucky in that case, because normally they just fund one building. They'd allow that with the exception that if we were to apply in the future for capital funding, we'd only be able to fund one of them, which makes sense because the other one would be health and wellness. So this is a good opportunity for us at least move ourselves a step further in the process of not only identifying the land, but having concept plans on development and what that looks like for future fundraising or partnerships to actually build the facility. The deadline to submit the application is September 30th. I'm working through the application currently to be able to complete it and have a planning review before it goes out. So at this point, we're looking for the confirmation that we could fund the $50,000. This would be funded through more of that parkland. We also have development charges, general for us, also through the library for their portion. So there's funding that's more growth related that would be applied to pay the $50,000, not from the general tax dollars.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? Councillor Levesque.
Thank you, Renee. Just a question. Overall, I support the idea. My question is, as an argument, let's say if this doesn't really show up for reality for 2 or 3 or 4 years, for instance, just throwing that out there, this feasibility study, if it's done in 2027, will it be out of date by the time that comes around? Will it be value add, or will we have to redo it, and so on? You know, just really about the value of us doing it now versus further down the road, presuming this is going to be available in future years as well. So it's really, to me, it's about timing and whether now is a good time or further down the road.
So what we're finding is that when we're discussing partnerships and a way to move the build forward, it's difficult to do that without that feasibility study. So this will be leveraged to be able to build those partnerships, have discussions with potential builders to develop the actual property. It's the missing component almost to being from an idea to having an actual concept plan.
Thank you. Supplemental?
No, just
okay.
thank you.
Councillor Popke.
If we're to contribute $50,000 towards this, where's the other 200 grand coming from?
This would be for an application for the Green Municipal Fund, so FCM, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, this is their funding application. So essentially, we're paying a portion, I think it's 80-20, yes.
Perfect.
Thank you. Councillor Tripp?
Thank you. It is a really good initiative, and I'd like to again recognize our team for the lead work. A lot of people apply to this fund and just through the letter of intent don't get invited to apply. So it's nice to be at this position where we have this opportunity, and it is an incredibly important tool. We have the vision, this conceptualizes it, and discussions with ministries and funders. We need the tangibles to help open those doors of discussion in terms of what we're actually looking for, scope, size, structure, capacity. It brings all the different people together. So for us at a $50,000 input with the 200,000 gives us a very strong foundation. And if you think of our journey here, we went with the vision. There was interest at the ministry. We then came back the following year saying we've purchased land, which shows our credibility and our commitment to the project. And then the next step is to come in with, here is through funding outside of the tax base, here is our tool that we'll use to go forward. So each step is one level closer in terms of establishing our reputation with potential funders down the road.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No, I'd like to thank staff for putting this together, and I'd also like to thank staff for being so diligent on what grants are out there and what funding is out there for us so that we can take that and leverage it. Yes, we can't move on without a feasibility study, and if the Green Municipal Fund wants to help us out with that cost, I'll be certainly happy to take their money. So I will call the question if there's no others. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Well, now, excuse me, we'll now move on to 13.3, CAO Performance Review Process. Resolution, please.
The council initiate the CAO performance review in accordance with the CAO performance review guide previously approved by council, and that council select one of the following approaches. Option 1, that an independent third party be engaged to facilitate the review process, including a 360-degree feedback, and report the results to council, with the mayor taking the lead on behalf of council in engaging the third party and coordinating the process. Or option 2, that the review proceed in accordance with the established process, with the mayor leading the compilation and coordination of council's evaluation and feedback.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Tripp. Background, please.
So what we have here is normally in around October, November, we would start the review process for my position as CAO. With the election coming up, it would kind of happen a bit earlier before the change in council. Therefore, I'm bringing this report forward because during the last 2 reviews, we've kind of discussed this 360 and the opportunity to have a third party kind of lead the review. So I've brought the 2 options forward just to, one, launch the process, but also for council to make a decision on which process you'd like to proceed with. This way, the mayor can proceed in that manner.
Thank you. Questions, comments from council? None from, okay, so we have to make a decision here on number 1 or number 2 option. So number 1, that an independent third party be engaged, or number 2, we proceed as we always have. So I'd like to try and pull out some discussion on which ones we prefer out of those 2. So if I could, would anybody like to lead? Councillor Tripp.
Perfect, thank you. I think it's a great initiative. My preference is to look at the 360. We've had 4 years in our term. We'll be stepping out, and it's a really robust evaluation, measurement, snapshot of the quality of the staff that we have. A 360 provides a lens from staff, from partners, from this table, but as well as from peers. So it gives us a very strong view into our CAO and her performance, but it also will help through this enhanced process to look also at potential development opportunities going forward. We know Renee. I think having it done now is very timely because the new council would come in without the knowledge. We've got the 3.5 years of experience with her. Our past have worked well when we've done it at this council table, but we're just capturing our view. I think at this point, it's really beneficial to expand that view as we close this term, to have as part of the evaluation process feedback from peers, from people that report in, from people who are engaged in partners, even as far as funders. And then having the mayor as the point, whichever firm is chosen, they'd have to have one person as a point in or out. And it would make sense for that to be the mayor. So I like the idea of the 360.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Levesque.
I agree, the 360 I think is the right way to go. It's good to have that objectivity and professionalism and invite others to the table besides the ones who've been there before. I assume we'll still be part of that feedback process anyway, so that's good. It just gives you a broader depth of feedback. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, do we do something like that for all staff, or is it, and I know you're the topic of the discussion, I was just curious if...
We have a process right now for staff, but it's similar to the old process.
Yeah, and to me, the relevance there is the uniformity and continuity for that kind of a process, so I totally support it.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Councillor Popke.
Well, we all know how good we have it here. I say it'd be nice to bring some fresh blood in and see how good it actually is here on their own.
So you think we have our CAO at a level lower then, do you? than other people? Yeah. Thank you. Well, Councillor Tripp.
Thank you. Just one other thing in terms of the 360, and I just wanted to take an opportunity to float this concept when we get into discussions around personal development, and Councillor Popke's comment is quite good. We're very fortunate to have the skill level we have. I think there's a responsibility or an opportunity to provide tools for her to develop and grow in the position. And as part of this process, to look for programs such as the Executive Leadership Program that's offered at the University of Toronto through the Rotman School of Management. It is a program for high-functioning leaders, and it helps develop leadership skills. So we have very strong skills through the EMBA process. This is another level on top of that I think can really benefit Renee, but also have a benefit to this table and to the staff and to the corporation. So as they look at the 360, to consider programs like the executive leadership, if there's a willingness on behalf of Renee, but also on behalf of the new council coming in. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments, concerns? I guess
I can
calling the
reread.
question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That council initiate the CAO performance review in accordance with the CAO performance review guide previously approved by council, and that council select option 1, that an independent third party be engaged to facilitate the review process, including the 360-degree feedback, and report the results to council, with the mayor taking the lead on behalf of council and engaging the third party and coordinating the process.
Thank you. I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. All right, well, 13.4, draft memorandum of understanding, Greater Madawaska Public Library and Learning Center. Resolution, please.
The council received this report regarding the proposed memorandum of understanding between the Township of Greater Madawaska and the Greater Madawaska Public Library and Learning Center, and provide any comments or suggested changes. And that following review and comments from council on the Greater Madawaska Public Library Board, staff finalized the memorandum of understanding, and that subject to no further changes being required, the final memorandum of understanding be brought forward to council for consideration and approval at the September 17, 2026 council meeting.
I have a mover. Councillor Popke, second by Councillor Thompson. And any of the background we have.
So as Renee had mentioned, staff are bringing forward the draft memorandum of understanding, also referred to as MOU, between the Township and the Greater Madawaska Public Library for council's review and comments. The purpose of the MOU is to establish a clear and consistent framework for relationship between the Township and the library, including financial responsibilities, administrative and operational support, roles and responsibilities, and reporting expectations. The MOU recognizes that the library board is an independent public library board, while also recognizing the township's role in providing municipal funding in various administrative, financial, facility, and operational services. This draft has been reviewed by township staff and discussed with library staff. It will now be provided to both council and the library board for review and feedback. Following that review, staff will bring forward, if no further substantial changes, a final MOU to the September 17th meeting.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns? They're none seen. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 14.1, hospital finances. Motion brought forward by myself. Resolution 131-26. Please.
That council support resolution number 13306, 2026, carried by the council of the town of Northeastern Manitoulin and the Islands on June 2nd, 2026, calling upon the province of Ontario to provide immediate and sustained funding to improve hospital finances and capacity, and that a copy of this resolution and copy of the town of Northeastern Manitoulin and the Islands resolution be forwarded to Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Sylvia Jones, Deputy Premier, Minister of Health, Cheryl Gallant, MP, Billy Deneau, MPP, AMO, and the town of Northeastern Manitoulin and the Islands.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Popkey. And the resolution was attached from Northeastern Manitoulin, I believe it is. Northeastern Manitoulin Island, sorry. Used to go up there all the time, I should know it. They're calling, they're calling on the government to increase funding for hospitals and sustainable funding to improve hospital finance and capacity. This is something that affects most of Ontario's hospitals, and yes, we do. The hospitals right now are doing fabulous and great work for us. Believe me, I know. I was there for quite a while, and I just think that it does not hurt and is beneficial to all in Ontario, not just our township and county, that if we can receive more funding for hospitals, it would be great. So I'm open for any questions or. Councillor Lebec.
Thank you for that. I think we all know that hospital funding is always something in demand. I think just recently, I think Billy Deneau, our MP, delivered was $7.4 million across numerous hospitals, with I think Pembroke getting the lion's share. Empire Regional Health got some. Anyway, long story short, there are subsequent deliveries given to the local hospitals that are within our catchment area. We personally don't have a hospital in this township, so I'm curious how we would even determine what the shortfall in our local funding would be if we're not really directly involved with those funding models. Although we typically approve these because they're somewhat benign, I don't really see the need for us to put this forward.
Thank you. Councillor Tripp.
Thank you. And just to follow up, they can be rather benign, and normally with these motions, we're putting a name on a long list of sheets of names. This motion was built on data that came out of the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, and it was talking about the shortfall of $3.2 billion for hospitals, rural hospitals across Ontario. It was material that came out in August. There has been a pendulum swing from the Ministry of Health and their concern when addressing hospitals. Recent meetings with the executive leadership of all of the hospitals of Ontario, the minister was very clear to say, the hospitals are one of the largest funded bodies in the province, and the money is tight, and hospitals need to start to look for greater efficiencies and effectiveness. That was kind of the message across the board. With that, the Health Leadership Summit and the Ontario Health Organizations have started to rethink their funding approaches to the ministry, recognizing that money is tight. So we all agree it's challenging, but the message from the Ministry of Health is look for ways of efficiencies. In our county, we're in very strong support. As Councillor Levesque said, there was a $5 million infrastructure health renewal project that came into the county. In our area with RVH and St. Francis, which is drawing a lot of the people from our catchment area, the lion's share came to us, 1.4 million of that 5. 7 million was provided for improved operations, and again, 2.8 coming within our geographic area within the county. At AMO, there was an announcement of a 4% budget increase to hospitals, so money is starting to flow, and this is all new from the time of that initial resolution in June. My concern outside of that is we're putting our name onto a petition that's going to the minister and to the premier on health funding and pushing a rather delicate message at the same time that through our staff team here, working with the ministry and Ontario Health to build this creative, innovative health model, we're at one side looking for partnerships and working and building alliances, and then on the second side, our name is on a document being critical. And I wonder if there's an unintended consequence. It's only a name, but I'm aware that those names do end up on a list. And how do we, at this juncture, with this one motion, support the criticism of the Ministry of Health and their funding, while at the same time we're trying to build through a relationship the launch of a really innovative model. I think it's risky, and I wouldn't support this one recommendation just based on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? No, I take your comments and I listen to them and I understand. For myself, I believe that it's not a push to have our name on a document or supporting a document that asks for increased hospital funding across the province. So I will ask the question, all in favor? That is myself. Opposed? That is a 4-1. The motion is defeated. We will now move on to 14.2, provincial government funding for fire services. Motion brought forward by myself. Resolution, please.
The council supported a resolution carried by the council of the town of Plympton, Wyoming on May 13, 2026, calling for support from the province of Ontario for sustainable provincial grant funding for fire services in Ontario, and that a copy of this resolution and a copy of the town of Plympton, Wyoming's resolution be forwarded to Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Michael Kersner, Solicitor General, Rob Flack, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Cheryl Gallant, MP, Billy Deneau, MPP, Kinga Surma, Minister of Infrastructure, AMO, and the town of Plympton, Wyoming.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Popke. And the background is the town of Plympton, Wyoming, I believe is the correct pronunciation, is requesting a support for sustainable provincial grant funding for fire services. Whereas the municipality fire services in Ontario operate under the legislative authority by establishing the province statutes regulations, municipalities are responsible for implementing and maintaining compliance with those provincial mandates. And the bulk of this is that approximately 70 to 75% of the firefighters in Ontario are volunteers. And when the province is putting new rules and regulations on those firefighters, we as smaller townships must fund those training sessions. So this is a letter or a request that the provincial government have more stable and sustainable funding models for fire departments for training purposes, for grants, because it's the province's standards that these municipalities have to pay the money to meet the standards. So I'm open for any questions on this. There are none. I'll call the question then. All in favor? That is unanimous. So carried. Thank you. For a sec, just gotta catch my computer up here, which is not working. There we go. 14. There we are. Okay. Tick-borne diseases, motion brought forward by myself. Resolution, please.
The council support a motion carried by the council of the town of Caledon on June 23, 2026, requesting support from the government of Ontario to combat tick-borne diseases, and that a copy of this resolution and a copy of the town of Caledon's motion be sent to Sylvia Jones, Deputy Premier, Minister of Health, Kernan Moore, Chief Medical Officer of Health, Todd McCarthy, Minister of the Environment, Conservation and Parks, Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Cheryl Gallant, MP, Billy Deneau, MPP, AMO, and the town of Caledon.
Thank you. And a mover, Councillor Popke and Councillor Thompson. And the background is, this is a resolution brought forward by the town of Caledon in regards to the increase of tick and Lyme disease, or tick-borne disease probably. It's prevalent, and residents or the Caledon Town Council requests formally the government of Ontario investigate and implement measures to reduce tick-borne populations to mitigate their association with public health risks. And as we know, Greater Madawaska and the County of Renfrew, we have quite the population of ticks. So I think this would be very useful for ourselves as well. And I'd like to be able to support this. Thank you. Any questions, comments? No. All in favor? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I'm just trying to catch my computer up again. So we will move on to 14.4, Bill 100, Better Regional Governments Act 2026. Motion brought forward by myself. Resolution, please.
That council support resolution C-203, 2026, carried by the council of the Township of Springwater on May 6, 2026, opposing Bill 100, the Better Regional Governance Act 2026 in its current form, and that a copy of this resolution and a copy of the Township of Springwater's resolution be forwarded to Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Cheryl Gallant, MP, Billy Deneau, MPP, Rob Flack, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, AMO, and the Township of Springwater.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Popke. And the, excuse me, I'll surmise this is the town of Springwater brought forward this resolution as they were concerned in regards to the possibility of the provincial government bringing forward the Strong Mayors Act for wardens. And also part of that would be that the warden would be elected not by the council, the county council, but they would be appointed in an election by the provincial government. My concern with that is you would have high population areas always having the warden. And they wouldn't be able to be, you wouldn't get that opportunity to share it amongst all the constituents. So whereas our top tier, the Renfrew County or the County of Renfrew, the warden's election takes place by the peers on the county council. And I think that's the way to go, and this is asking for the provincial government to take into consideration that the strong mayors is not given to the wardens, and that the election process should remain within a county council and not with within a municipal or provincial or county election that would be then. So any questions, comments, concerns in regards to this? No? Call the question, and all in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We will now move on to 14.5, Ontario Land Tribunal enhancing difference to municipal planning decisions. Motion brought forward by Councillor Thompson. Resolution, please.
That council support Resolution 16626 carried by the Council of the Town of Whitby on June 22nd, 2026, requesting the Government of Ontario to review the role and the mandate of the Ontario Land Tribunal, and that a copy of this resolution and a copy of the Town of Whitby's resolution be forwarded to Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Rob Flack, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Cheryl Gallant, MP, Billy Deneau, MPP, AMO, and the Town of Whitby.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Popke. And background, please, Councillor Thompson.
The Ontario Land Tribunal has the authority to overturn municipal planning decisions, often requiring municipalities to spend significant taxpayer dollars defending decisions that have already undergone a thorough local review process. Lengthy and costly appeals can delay housing projects, consume municipal resources, and reduce the ability of municipalities to focus on delivering services to residents. Local government should have greater certainty and authority when decisions are consistent with approved official plans, provincial policies, and sound planning principles. So this is requesting the Government of Ontario to review the role and mandate of the Ontario Land Tribunal to ensure greater respect for municipal planning decisions that are supported by evidence, public consultation, and approved planning policies. I think that's it.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? There are none seen. We'll call the question. All in favor? Opposed? That's 3-2. So that passed. Okay, we will now move on to 14.6, modernizing Ontario's invasive plant rules, brought forward by Councillor Thompson. Resolution, please.
That council support Resolution 2026-0107 carried by the Council of the Town of Halton Hills on June 1st, 2026, requesting the Province of Ontario undertake a review on modernization of Ontario's invasive plant regulatory framework, and that a copy of this resolution and a copy of the Town of Halton Hills resolution be forwarded to Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Rob Flack, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, Cheryl Gallant, MP, Billy Deneau, MPP, Mike Harris, Minister of Natural Resources, Trevor Jones, Minister of Agriculture, Food and Agribusiness, Todd McCarthy, Minister of Environment, Conservation and Parks, AMO, and the Town of Halton Hills.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, and followed by second by Councillor Popke. Background, please, Councillor Thompson.
This is essentially council, lost my place, sorry. The Ontario Invasive Plant Council, Indigenous Communities, no, lost it completely, so I'll wing it. We have spent a lot of money cleaning up invasive plants out of the ecosystem, yet they are still being allowed, they can be sold at, and the seeds could be bought everywhere. So we're spending money to clean it up. We need to restrict the sale of these things so that they don't enter the environment. So that's essentially it.
Thank you. Questions from council? Councillor Popke.
I just want to say I spend a lot of my time outside, and I witnessed firsthand how fast these invasive species spread in unknown areas. So I'm totally for this resolution.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns from council? I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 14.7, property reassessment cycle, brought forward by Councillor Thompson. Resolution, please.
The council support Resolution 2026-03 carried by the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus on May 8th, 2026, requesting the Government of Ontario commit to a prompt return to the property tax a reassessment cycle, and that a copy of this resolution and a copy of the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus resolution be forwarded to Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Peter Bethlen-Falvey, Minister of Finance, AMO, MPAC, Cheryl Gallant, MP, Billy Deneau, MPP, and the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus.
Thank you. We have a mover. Councillor Tripp, second by Councillor Popke. Thank you. Background, please, Councillor Thompson.
The municipalities in Ontario are currently required to calculate property taxes based on property valuations from 2016, over a decade ago. And that is resulting in imbalanced assessments. All other provinces in Canada have continued regular reassessment cycles, resulting in properties being reassessed multiple times since 2016, making Ontario the most outdated in Canada. The prolonged pause in the reassessment cycle has created significant distortions in assessed values, resulting in inequities among property classes. Outdated assessments negatively impact investment decisions, economic competitiveness, municipal planning, and disproportionately affect independent small businesses. The continued pause on property tax reassessment in Ontario creates uncertainty for municipalities, property owners, and investors regarding future tax liabilities. So this is asking for a predictable assessment system that will support strong communities, maintain fairness in taxation, and encourage economic investment consistent with Ontario's objectives of open for business. That the Government of Ontario work in coordination with the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, MPAC, to ensure properties are reassessed in an accurate and timely manner.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns from council? There are none seen. Call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to 14.8, traffic calming and speed mitigation techniques. Motion brought forward by Councillor Thompson. Resolution, please.
That council support the resolution carried by the Township of Clearview on July 27th, 2026. Supporting a resolution carried by the Huronia West OPP Detachment Board requesting support from the province of Ontario for traffic calming and speed mitigation techniques, and that a copy of this resolution and a copy of the Township of Clearview's resolution be forwarded to Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Prabmeet Singh Sarkaria, Minister of Transportation, Peter Bethlefalvi, Minister of Finance, the South Ottawa Valley OPP Detachment Board, and the Township of Clearview.
Thank you. Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, and second by Councillor Levesque. Background, please.
Okay. I'll just read this out. It's fairly short. Move by, demonstrate. Okay. Whereas history demonstrates that speeding and public safety concerns are increasing across Ontario, the provincial government has shown interest in allocated financial resources to certain municipalities to implement alternative measures to photo radar, reaffirming its ongoing commitment to addressing public safety issues. Whereas the commitment currently applies only to municipalities utilizing photo radar as a deterrent, and whereas such funding support would assist municipalities with limited financial resources in protecting their citizens, especially seniors and school-aged children. So the resolution is to support the Huron West OPP Detachment Board in their request for the province of Ontario to expand their stated interest and financial commitment to include all municipalities in Ontario, adopting a province-wide approach to public safety and therefore ensuring the well-being of all Ontarians.
Thank you. Any questions, comments, concerns on the Huronian OPP detachment? Huronia. Is there any questions? No. Okay. Call by question and all in favor. Thank you. Opposed? 4-1. Thank you. It's passed. And we will now get to section 15, closed session. 15.1, enter into a closed session. Resolution, please.
That the council meeting of August 20th, 2026 enter into closed session at 5:02 PM pursuant to Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act regarding one, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality, specifically Ontario Land Tribunal Appeal Minor Variance Application A0326, and 2, labor relations or employee negotiations, specifically CEO employment contract.
Okay, do we have a mover? Counselor Thompson, second Counselor Levesque. Background, please. Oh, there's no background to this. I fall into a routine and I do it. All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. We are in close. Welcome back. Thank you for your patience while we were in closed. We'll move to 16.1, move to rise and report. Resolution, please.
That council move back into open session at 5:49 PM and reports the following as a result of the closed meeting item regarding 1, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality, specifically Ontario Land Tribunal Appeal, minor variance application A0326. That council directs the township solicitor to proceed in accordance with the direction provided in closed session respecting the Ontario Land Tribunal Appeal for minor variance application A0326. And number 2, labor relations or employee negotiations, specifically CAO employment contract, proceed as directed in closed.
Thank you. All in favor? It's okay. Or did I not get a mover?
Did we get a mover and seconder?
No,
on
we
that?
didn't. Let's get a mover and seconder first. Councillor Popke, Councillor Tripp. I'm losing it today, people, sorry. And
Now you can vote.
now we can vote. All in favor? Thank you. Okay, bylaw approval, 17.1, bylaw approval, 35-2026 confirmatory. Resolution, please.
That the following bylaw 35/2026 confirmatory be deemed read a first, second, and final time and passed by council at the regular council meeting held August 20th, 2026.
Do we have a mover? Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Levesque. All in favor? So carried. We go to 18.8.1, motion to adjourn.
That the regular council meeting of August 20th, 2026 be adjourned at 5:50 PM.
We have a mover, Councillor Thompson, second by Councillor Popke. All in favor to adjourn? That is unanimous, so carried. Thank you all so very much. Get out to our community events starting tomorrow and have fun and drink responsibly. No drinking and driving, please. Thank you.